guys.
Welcome to the Boer broadcast. I'm Jason Brashear, and with me is
Josh Taylor. How are you out there in the Facebook land?
Facebook Land. Well, it seems like we just did this, and this one snuck up on, I think, you and I both, this Boer broadcast, but we got a heck of a show tonight. It's really slam packed with guests and guest speakers. But before we get started and bringing them in, just kind of what's been going on in Josh Taylor's world.
A little bit of everything. Kind of like you. We were just kind of joking about. We really didn't have that many notes written down for this deal. We've got so many other notes for our regular jobs. I've got like a massive amount of sticky notes all over the place and on the whiteboard, and we're getting ready for our county fair. We've had a bunch of events in July. We're gearing up for the county fair, so doing all that, and in between times I found time to get away and go judge a couple of different places. So had a good show, long day judging down in Duncan, Oklahoma for the Oklahoma Boer Goat folks, and then the Oklahoma Youth Meat Goat jackpot. It got done at about 11:15 that evening after, 8.5 hours of judging. My feet were sore the next day. That's for sure. But
those shows make you earn every penny and remember it for 2 or 3 days.
That's right. Try not to do too much, though. I mean, it's been hot. I honestly have thought about a few folks that I've seen and talked to, and then you see some of the posts and whatnot of people that are getting ready to flush, or they have flushed and they've been breeding, done some synchronizing and whatnot. And I'm glad I'm not in their shoes. It'd be pretty challenging. That's for sure. Especially with I think we're 102, 103 the last week, and for the next week.
We've been fairly mild, but it was the week before our flush, it jumped up in that 100, 104 or 5 temps, or at least feel like temps. And our donors didn't even cycle. It was really just called our repro guy, and nope, we're no sense even stopping by here. There was nothing. So we got another one coming up soon, and hopefully the weather cooperates just a little bit. So certainly been busy on this end too. We've been running the roads and judging a few shows. Been up in New England and hanging out with Richard Dicey and that crew up there, and always love going up there and just watching the people and seeing that. Hey Paige, how are you? Seeing that.
Oops.
Oops, I'm not supposed to be here. Watch those folks and watch their stock just evolve over time. We had a really good sale this past weekend up in Ohio at Legendary Sale.
Yeah.
In that $14,000-$15,000 range, and they were absolutely spectacular. So hopefully you had a chance to check that out. But coming up,
was that buck of Gary's the one he had at National?
It is not. It's one he should have had at Nationals, and
it's one he should have. Gary, if you're listening, you should have had that one.
He kept coming and telling me. He said, "I think he could have won his 9-12. I think he could have won that 9-12 class, but we just didn't have him hired up, and we just didn't want to take him because we didn't have him hired up." But he was a real deal. He was a raw one that had a tremendous amount of mass and power. Headed to Nebraska. Our high seller was Rick and Misty doe that Aaron and Grace had that ended up going out to Pennsylvania. But really good, really fun set to talk, and that seems to be talking seems to be on my calendar for the next 6-8 weeks of almost nonstop. So excited for that, and I guess ready to get going.
That's good. I guess hey, you're talking about that Rick and Misty deal. I guess now it's all Aaron and Grace's.
Yep.
Isn't it? That's kind of That's a cool deal. Good opportunity for them.
Absolutely. I talked
I
to them.
think that,
They were so excited to get the brood does, and he said
yeah.
everybody has called me and said, "Why are you selling this lot one? She's so good. Why are you not keeping her?" He's like, "I got to pay for the brood does. That's really what I wanted. That's what I
Yeah.
need." I was like, "I
Yeah.
get it because that's been a productive firm, and it was kind of sad to see him go, but I'm glad it stayed in its entirety and just transferred to Aaron and Grace."
Well, and I think it's even a cooler, and I'm going to segue into our first guest when I do this, but I think it's even cooler the fact that Rick and Misty have been in it for so long. Good old Illinois folks, right? Get up there and put a program together and to see two youngins, if you will, come out of the ranks and get in there and take it and going to run with it. That's kind of how everything evolves, and pretty much the foundation for all that is what our first couple of guests are going to come on and talk about being on the
Absolutely.
junior board.
Absolutely. So we got Maddie Reese and Lizzie Hefner coming in to talk about what's happening with the ABGA. We just had their face to face, so I'm sure they'll talk a little bit about it and kind of some new things coming down the pipe with the ABGA. So Maddie, Lizzie, welcome to the Boer broadcast, and I guess we'll turn it over to y'all.
Ladies, good to see you.
Lizzie,
No,
I think you're muted.
You're muted. You were just talking
Thanks
about
so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Yes, so excited to be on here with you guys tonight.
you were just talking about how technology was working and it was good, and then you have to go and do that.
I cursed myself. I know.
You did.
I just should never talk about it. That's the best way I think to prevent it.
Sometimes it is. So we got Maddie. Maddie is the ABGA president. Lizzie is the reporter. And so tell us about your face to face you just had. When did you have it? Where was it at? What'd y'all do?
It was a couple weeks ago in July. We were in San Angelo, Texas. Everyone came to San Angelo on the board, and we got to meet all the new faces. We got to get together with the ones that already been on the board together, and we just got to do some team bonding, some industry tours with some colleges and different things like that. And then we had our meeting all day, one day while we were there, and we got some great things in the works for you guys. We got some new things coming. We were very, very productive, and that was my take on our face to face.
You had your meeting in one day.
Yep.
It didn't take you any longer than one day.
It was from like 8 a.m. to like almost 7 p.m. though.
Yeah, it was like
so it was just like really long day.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, you guys got some things accomplished. That's good.
It was a really good trip. I think it was really good. I'm really excited about the team we have, and we had a really great collaborative group, and our meeting went better than I could have ever thought it would have or hoped it would have. And I think all of us kind of left San Angelo feeling very encouraged and very excited for the next year. So it went great.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you a little bit there before we all went live, but who's your junior liaison? Who else was there to kind of shepherd you in the right direction, if you will?
Yeah, so Jalen is our youth liaison. So what's one of her jobs with the ABGA is to kind of lead the junior board. Maddie is from Area 1, and she is the board president. Emma Rauschenberg is from Area 2. She's our vice president. Rebecca Sullivan's Area 5. She's the secretary. I am from Area 3. I'm a reporter. Lexi Bingham is Area 5, and she's our treasurer. And then Jordan Jelnick is from Area 1. Lindsay Van Wyk is from Area 2. Lillian Heisel is from Area 3. Brooke Aker, Area 4. And Evangeline Street is also Area 4. So that's kind of our board. We are a girl strong board. Go check us out. There's a post on social media that kind of introduces everybody's faces. So that was our team. And it was just really great. We were all excited to be there together and have such a collaborative group of people.
Now we know why they got things done, Jason.
Exactly.
They didn't have any guys on there messing things up.
Mhm.
Oh, Maddie, what about some of the things that you talked about at the board? You've got a whole list of regional shows getting ready to start.
Yeah.
Where and when are all those going to take place, and what'd you change?
So our very first regional show is going to be in Salem, Oregon for Area 1. It's going to be September 4th through the 7th. It's also running in conjunction with the Oregon State Fair. We're very thankful and blessed that Ashley has
Nice.
taken on the role of putting on our Area 1 show, and she's done a tremendous job with it. So excited to go up there to Oregon. Our next show is going to be Area 3 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, September 26th. So if you're close to Pennsylvania or in Area 3, make sure to go to that one. Then we jump down to Texas and Comfort, Texas for Area 5, which is going to be November 20th through the 22nd. Then we go to Area 4 in Covington, Georgia, January 8th through the 10th. Then we go to Area 2 for Duquesne, Illinois, which is April 16th through the 18th. And then Area 3 we got multiple bids for Area 3, so we're doing 2 Area 3 shows, which is this last one is going to be in Greenfield, Indiana, May 7th through the 9th. So Area 3, you guys get 2 area shows. And we're very excited to kind of use you guys as our guinea pig to see how well 2 shows goes for our regional show series.
Yes, lucky Area 3. We are very excited.
Yeah.
And your other one in Area 3 is in Pennsylvania?
Yep.
Yeah, it's in conjunction with the Keystone International Livestock
Okay.
Expo. Yeah. So it's only a 1-day show.
That's far enough apart, though.
Yep.
You'll get some good draws.
Yeah,
And it's
Go ahead.
DeCoin, Illinois, by the way.
DeCoin.
DeCoin.
Got it.
Trust me, I know. I used to go to the DeCoin State Fair. They called it a state fair back in the day.
That's awesome. I'm a big fan of the Georgia show just because that is the town where they shot the first 5 episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard for old people like me.
There you go.
And then I think they also did Vampire Diaries in that town, but a really neat town that's got a great restaurant on Main Street. So
Yeah, Maddie, you're not too far from. How far are you from Oregon? From Salem?
It's about a 9 to 10 hour drive for us.
Still yeah, you're down in Southern California. Yeah, that's true. But for everybody else, it's like 39 hours. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay.
Yep.
Oregon State Fair is fun though. When I lived out there, I got the opportunity to judge that a couple times, different species, and so that's a neat state fair. I like that one. That's a good
Yeah.
spot to have it out there, I think.
Yeah, we're really excited that Ashley is taking that by the reins and just doing her thing because she's killing it. Entries look great,
Yep.
so we're really excited about that.
Yeah, awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What about
What,
new programs?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
Just what kind of new programs does the ABGA got coming down the pike?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of things that we're kind of changing with regionals. I mean, the idea is staying the same, but we are just trying to make them a little bit more modern and more enjoyable and accessible for the members. So one of the first things that we're doing is we're adding a contest, which is the demonstration contest. So any families that are familiar with FFA at all, demos are really popular contests in that area. And it is literally just demonstrating how to do something. So whether it's like clipping a goat or trimming hooves or anything at all within the agriculture industry, you can do a demonstration on that. And then you can do both demonstration and public speaking, but out of the two, your highest total will be used to go to your overall high points. So you can participate in one. If you're more comfortable doing a demonstration instead of giving a speech, go ahead and do that demo, and that'll count towards your high point overall. And if you want to do both, we'll take the highest of your scores and add that. So that's really just to cater to some of those younger kids that might not be as comfortable yet or truly understand kind of the public speaking contests and kind of get them to a point where they're more comfortable getting up in front of a panel of judges and talking about a topic that they enjoy or they're familiar with, just to get them a little bit more comfortable in that arena. So we're really excited about that program. And we're just super excited. We're going to test it out this year, see how it goes. We have a few kids signed up for the Oregon show to do demos. So we're super excited to see how that goes. And hopefully everybody does demos.
And it doesn't have to be goat related.
So at the regional show series, it can be anything within the agriculture industry. And then at nationals, it has to be related to the Boer goat in some way.
Okay.
Fantastic.
That'd be cool.
That's a
Yeah,
great
we're really
idea.
excited.
You can come up with a lot of interesting topics potentially.
Yeah, our judges are going to have a real fun time with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, judges. We love you.
Don't call me for that one.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll be on the announcer stand. We'll
There
be
you
live. We'll be live casting. We won't have to maybe judge that one. That
There
could be
you go.
interesting. And I think it's right. I think for our younger kids, it's not natural for that 8, 7, 8-year-old to stand up there by themselves. But if they can bring props and talk about something, it becomes a whole lot easier. It's all my years is in extension. It's so much easier to get a kid to do a demonstration and talk about something where they have things in front of them instead of just stand up and just in front of a podium and give us a speech. So that's
Right.
great.
Right.
I think that's it. It's probably a good first step for a lot of them.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole goal with it. So I'm glad to hear that for you guys.
Great.
Any other ones?
So another thing that we're adding this year to our regional series is our supreme breeding animal. So all of your overall animals, your percentage doe and buck, your full blood doe and buck will come back into the ring, and the judge will pick their overall supreme breeding animal. And that's kind of like a bragging rights, like I have the best animal type of thing. It's optional, but very, very encouraged that you participate and you join at the chance to have the supreme breeding animal at your regional show. So that's something new that we're adding.
Right. And I believe, Maddie, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm saying something that's totally incorrect, but I think there is a payout for it as well.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I think we decided there's a banner and a payout that goes along with it. So we're very excited to add that and kind of get that hype for those animals.
Are you going to put breeding animal, so maybe not commercial does get a chance to do that? So it's just the registered stuff?
Yep. So it's just your champion percentage doe and your percentage buck, and your full blood doe and full blood buck will come back to compete against the 4 of them. And then there's a $300 payout and then a banner. And so it's kind of like your supreme breeding animal of your regional show.
Jason, what do you think of that?
That's going to be a fun one. I've done that a few times, and I always feel like people get real mad when I don't pick the full blood.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But I think it's awesome, and you know, it's a good way to elevate and say, hey, not only did I win champion buck or champion doe or this or that, I also was out of the best, I was considered deemed the best that day. So I think it's neat. I think it's something. I hope we see it on the open side from time to time, because I think it's neat to talk about and evaluate the differences between the type of livestock we got out there and when we go from percentages to full bloods.
Right.
Yeah, Ashley and Caleb kind of brainstormed the idea, and we thought it was a really good way to give a little bit more recognition, and also a way to do a payout in the registered side, because we do pay out for market, and we don't for registered. So we thought that was just another incentive to get people to register their animals and support the ABGA.
Yep,
absolutely.
I like it. They started something similar to that in the Hereford show at the National Western Stock Show at the National, and Tom Lane out of Tennessee from 4L Hereford Farm is the one that got it going. And so you'd bring back the champion horned heifer, champion polled heifer, champion horn bull, champion polled bull, pick a supreme breeding or Hereford animal, right? So kind of similar to what we're doing here. It was always very much a bragging rights type of a deal amongst all of us in the barn. And I think that's probably what it's going to evolve into. And that'll be fun. I hope that we get some live streaming for all these regional shows so that we can all watch it from when they get to that point. That'll be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're definitely really excited about that. Yeah, we're just psyched, and everybody bring your goats back. It is low risk, very high reward if you do well.
Yeah.
So participate in that as well, please.
Well, you're already a champion. You might as well go for one more. So, I mean, shoot, yeah.
Right.
I like it.
I love it.
So we've got those couple of changes.
Yeah. Another big change that I want to make sure that we hit on here, that we're making to the contest side, we kind of reworked last season how we were doing the fitting contest. And we got some feedback, and we've kind of reworked how we're going to do it again this year. And we think we've come up with a good solution. There was, between the regional shows, just based on the amount of kids that were there participating, it was sometimes really hard to get them to fill up a junior division or an intermediate division. So last year, that's kind of why we changed it, and it was all self-determined. So if you were a 14-year-old that just started fitting and you are new to goats, you didn't have to compete against kids who have been doing it since they were 6. So this year, what we're going to do is level 1, level 2, level 3, and the mentor class. So the levels are still self-determined, but the youth liaison, Jalen, will have final say. So if you're a 20-year-old in the level 1 division, Jalen might tell you to, maybe reconsider your skill level there. But so level 1 is the most beginner, level 2 is the most intermediate, and level 3 is the most advanced. We wanted to refrain from saying like junior, intermediate, senior, because we didn't want people to think that based on their age division that they're in for showmanship or contests that they have to do that. And they are still self-determined, like I said. And then if you win your level at a regionals or a nationals, you have to move up into the next level for the following year. So if I'm in level 1 and I win at regionals, next year I have to compete in level 2. And if I win in level 2, I have to compete in level 3. So we're going to do some better communication with that. I've got our junior board and junior ambassador marketing committee is going to work on how to better explain that to people that are at the regional shows. But we're excited about that, and we're still going to have the mentor division. So if you want to work with older sibling, younger sibling, or however you want to do that, that's still available as well. So we're excited about that change, and hopefully it goes smoothly, and we don't have anybody confused about the division they're supposed to be in this year.
Oh, you might get some of that, but I think you'll get it worked out. That's a good way to do it, though. It's kind of like the amateurs, the novice pros, whatever, how they do it in those horse shows a little bit.
Right.
So
yeah, we figured that it was a better way to kind of make skill levels available rather than saying like junior division, intermediate, and senior. So it goes also just to clarify, level 1 is the most beginner, moving all the way up to level 3.
Fantastic. Well, guys, anything else you want to add, or you want to tell the folks out here listening to the broadcast tonight about what's happening in the JABGA?
Yeah, so the last thing that I'll touch on, and it's something that we're really excited to present to you guys, and something that we talked a lot about at our face-to-face, and just to kind of add more value to the JABGA and your animals, we'll be starting JABGA Ennoblement, Stow of Excellence, and Sire of Merit. So your JABGA show points will count towards those JABGA animal award programs. They're still the same requirements as our ABGA ennoblements and things like that. So you're still held to the same standard as an adult membership would be, but your junior show points they're now valued towards those ennoblements, Stow of Excellence, Sire of Merit. You'll still apply the same way. You'll receive a certificate, a letter from the JABJ president, and then also a notation on your registration certificate, just like the ABJ gets now. So that's kind of the new big thing that we're bringing to our junior membership.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Give the kids their own point system.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, we're super excited about that. And it all goes into effect on September 1. And it is just like the ABGA ennoblements. You can backdate your ennoblements as far as you want. So if I have a doe that reached its ennoblement in May of this year, it still can qualify. And I Compete should have that ready for you in like 2 months-ish, a month-ish.
Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be pretty quick. Yeah. That's a good change to the program. I like that.
Absolutely.
Give those kids a little bit of an incentive. Yeah.
For sure.
Jason,
Well,
we're running out of time.
we are. Folks, it's been Lizzie, Maddie, it's been great having you on. We appreciate all that you do for the Junior American Boer Goat Association, and I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point in time in the near future.
Well, thank you guys so much. We're really excited about all these changes. So
Yes. Thank you guys for having us on tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ladies. Thank you.
bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Such well-spoken young
Yes.
leaders of this industry.
That's
Just
great.
got to get excited and lots of good news.
The entire board is girls.
Yeah.
Guys, you've got to step up a little bit. That's honestly, that's for sure why they've gotten so much stuff done.
That's a lot that they got done in a day's meeting, trying to
Yeah,
decide
right.
all of this, bicker and talk about the ins and outs of it, and then get that designed in a day. And that's a lot of legwork. Kudos to those young ladies, but also to Jalen and Ashley and all the adult advisors that kind of help on with that. So just good news all the way around.
Yeah, no, that was good. We've got 4 more guests, folks, and we're already halfway through our time. So,
Yep.
Jason, go ahead and get the next 2 in there.
And we have got Maddie and Trevor. Hey, guys, how are you all?
And they're in the car.
I kind of figured that.
Sorry.
Has school started yet?
Yeah, it started yesterday.
Oh, that's no fun or fun.
Yeah.
So, just want to bring you on. First off, congratulations on your awards. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you just was awarded at the summit?
So we received Premier Sire for the national show. For AWS won the Bulldog. He was Premier Sire at the national show this year. And then we also received the Donald Byrd Premier Breeder Award for the national show as well.
Awesome. What does, I think you all are such an inspiration for so many folks in this industry, because you've been in it literally and kind of grew up in this industry. What does it mean to you all? Not only you had a heck of a national show, any way you look at it, you had a heck of a national show, but what does it mean of getting these extra accolades for you all that's put so much of your lifetime in this industry?
The Premier Breeder especially is by far the most meaningful award that we feel that we could receive. This is our second year in a row receiving it, and we all like to win, and at the end of the day, I mean that's all really fun, but our passion is to be a breeder. We've kind of gotten to the point in our career that we're going to show at the majors and that kind of stuff, but we want to make the kids, and we want to get those kids into the hands of the right people, and those people go out and campaign these animals, and we get so much more gratification and that kind of stuff, being the breeder and being the one that kind of was behind the scenes putting the genetics together and doing the everyday kind of stuff to make it happen. So the Premier Breeder is by far, in our opinion, the most honorable, if you will. It's the award that we always watched our mentors growing up. We always watched them receive it, and to have our name on the plaque beside people that we consider the greats, if you will, it kind of leaves us speechless in a sense. We've reached out to some of those people before, and just to tell them that it's truly an honor to be on that plaque with them. We don't have any other words for it. It's just really cool.
Well, it
Yep.
says a lot that with what you were just talking about, Trevor, that you've got the mindset, right? That you want to be the breeder and you want to help all those other folks sell the kids, get them into those families' hands or those other programs. And that's where the true value of what you guys are doing from a breeding standpoint really starts to flourish a little bit. When you can take
Yeah.
those genetics and see them succeed. I mean, I don't know if there's a show I go to where you don't find some of your goats there and be sitting at the backdrop and where'd you get that one? Oh, that's a Maddie and Trevor goat. Oh, well, yeah, good. And they look the same all over the country because you guys are doing such a consistently good job at in your breeding program.
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, we don't have a life outside of this. So I mean, we
You
talk
don't
about
have to.
school, and we we joke that we even tell our students that we to go to the school. In retrospect, we live right across the street from the school, so it's very convenient and it fits our lifestyle. But ultimately, this is our livelihood. The school is kind of a little side hustle for us. We just do it to kind of get off the farm and actually maybe put on some nice clothes for a day or whatever. But we truly do not have a life. Everything we do, all of the friends we have, the family that we have kind of grown to accept as family, they're all within this industry, and we've kind of dedicated everything we have to it. We spend far more money on the goats than we have ever spent on ourselves, whether it's making the next set of kids or whether it's buying something for a show or just we don't have a life, really, is what it boils down to.
So
I think most people that have goats would say that, honestly.
Yeah.
So certainly tremendous breeders and consistent. Josh talked about consistent, and I don't care if I find your goats in New England in the Pacific Northwest or somewhere in the Midwest. It's pretty easy to spot them. They all look the same, and that's certainly I think that's a sign of a true breeder, is somebody who can consistently just crank out the same types of goats. But kind of switching gears from that. So what was it like getting the premier sire as well with that great bulldog buck?
Yeah, that was super cool. That's the first time we had received it. I think a couple of years ago we had about 3 sires kind of in the running. None of them had won, but we thought it was cool to kind of had 3 that were in the top, but for Bulldog, it's even more kind of meaningful. We own him in partnership with Jesse Stover, who's a really good friend and almost family, kind of what we consider. But we went out and sought after Bulldog as an outcross buck, and we breed tight. We've bred tight for years, and we got to the point we acknowledged when we needed an outcross, and we went and found Bulldog, and we've put him across everything, females of all makes and models and different kinds of phenotypes, and he's clicked. And for this year to be our first kid crop, and he had 3 national champions this year, was out of this world. We knew at the national show when everything was kind of doing well, we knew he had a pretty good shot because and they weren't even goats that we had. They were goats. They were customers that had bred to him and used them and made these kids, or maybe we sold a bred recip. But for him to have a first kid crop and to have 3 national champions, we've never had anything like that. That's not something you see very often. And so it was really a testament to kind of his potential, if you will.
That's pretty exciting.
How you gonna top that next year?
We probably won't, if I'm being honest. It's not. A lot of this is, we kind of take it as it comes, if you will, and so you never know how it goes from one year to the next. We could have nothing. It's how the cards fall.
It ebbs and flows, that's for sure. But it's pretty. I mean, that's awful cool that how you guys can stay that consistent. I mean, that's really impressive.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
My last question for you all is as premier breeder and having the premier sire, and what's one piece of advice you give for our listeners that are out there that are mid-season breeders that's kind of there but not, or folks that are just starting out? What's one solid piece of advice you give folks?
I think that you really have to put your heart and soul into it. Being successful with goats, I think a lot of us have found out the hard way, like you can't do that halfway. And so we've, dedicated, if you want to do it at a competitive high level that's consistent, you have to dedicate everything you have to it. I think it's as simple as that for us most of the time. And that's not always easy. So,
No.
Yeah, I have a life.
No,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
And find a mentor. Find somebody that knows what they're doing. Everybody,
Willing to help.
yeah,
whatever.
and willing to help, and everybody has their own way of doing things, and that's the unique thing about this. We some of our closest friends are also they're our competitors too, and so we all have people that come to us and ask questions, and find somebody that is willing to show you the ropes. Find somebody that is willing to kind of let you in on how to do things and how to do things appropriately, and don't just you will get burnt out so quickly if you just come in and
Do it alone and try to figure it out by yourself. And
I should flush a goat because everybody's flushing their goats, and that's really something that you've got to be cognizant of, and that's you've got to really step back and analyze it, and talk to the people that have done it for years and the people that are having success to kind of see what works best and how to do things, and don't do it blindly. It really is going to be a money pit. I think we can all acknowledge that, but find somebody. We wouldn't be where we are today without our mentor. I think everybody knows our biggest idol and inspiration is her grandmother, Terry Brown. But there's been so many other people along the way that we've gone to for advice that have helped us. You guys talked about Rick and Misty earlier on the show, and I know Aaron and Grace. They're some of our closest friends. They're some of our most competitive people in a sense too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They've gone to Rick and Misty for advice, and we've gone to Rick and Misty for advice. Just the breeders that have done it for so long. I remember there was a time where I could text Paul Morgan for whatever and just ask him a simple question, and he was willing to lend advice. And at the time, we didn't feel like we were anybody or even deserving of communication with him. But these breeders want other people to succeed. They need everyone to succeed, and that's what most people don't acknowledge, that we have to have this whole industry be successful. We have to have competitors. It takes everybody, even the people we don't like in this industry. And we're the type that we get along with everybody for the most part. We don't want drama. Stick to the plan, and stick to the community, and kind of cherish that, if you will. Cherish those relationships, because it's really, really going to take you the furthest, I promise.
Very
Absolutely.
valid points. I like them all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We kind of saw all of what he was just talking about, Jason, at the national show, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
We certainly did.
I think that was one of the cool parts, but very well put, Trevor.
Yeah.
And you too, Maddie. Yes.
Thanks.
Any parting words as we shift gears to a really full show today?
I guess we could probably let you in on a little insight, if you will. This isn't maybe it's it's gonna be public information, but we're expecting our first kid in January.
No, I knew it. I knew
Congrats.
it. Congratulations.
So it's
awesome.
been
Congratulations.
We found out right before nationals, and it was the success of nationals, but also just all of the thoughts that were in the back of our head the entire time. We don't have the words for it. And we've had such a phenomenal support system. This summer in Oklahoma has been hell. It has been very brutal. And we're really optimistic about the future and where this industry is going. And kind of what we're building for ourselves. And, we've kind of hinted at a couple things, but this is the first time we've really surprised.
So now we know that we're not getting rid of you guys until your kid ages out.
Right.
Yeah.
At least. We got you for at least 21 years.
we just pray the kid likes the goats as much as we do, or
Yeah.
can get involved. So
Right. I'm sure you'll be all right. Well, congratulations, guys.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
thank
Love
you.
it. I love it. Well, thank you, folks. I guess I'll see you all here Labor Day.
Yes, sir.
And we'll go right ahead. But thanks and congratulations once again on not only being the premier breeder, but also having that premier sire.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
That's what lit up our chat. I don't know if you got our chat up on the side, but it's blowing up with congratulations.
No, I don't even know how to get to it.
It's down at the bottom beside your.
I see it.
There's that.
Yeah. Yeah. There you
So,
go.
Such a great just session tonight with that. But we've got more.
Yeah.
We've had a lot going on in the industry. So next we got Paige Gunderson coming out, one of our directors, but also one that works with the foundation. And tell us about the summit, Paige. How are you? Welcome to the broadcast.
Sorry, I keep on bouncing in and out. A heck of a day. I just got done breeding cows and I got a message from Portia saying the broadcast has started and you're supposed to be on it. And I'm like, so
Oops.
have to get here. It's like everything else. It's last minute. We get it done and we just keep on smiling on. So
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's a little cooler up there breeding cows.
it is. We got lucky. It's cooled down a lot, but I also am from northern Wisconsin. So anything above 80 and I start complaining. So that's when we were down at the summit in Kansas City. I walked outside during one of the breaks and it was like swimming through the air. I don't know how
Yep.
anything lives like that.
No, it's pretty much just like Trevor said. It's pretty much been hell down here. It's been terrible.
You keep that down there and I'll keep the winters up here. How's that?
Right.
Please do. So tell us about the summit. How did it go? I was very, very aggravated that I had a long work weekend and could not get to Kansas City.
It was amazing. So I'm not trying to diminish the fact that it wasn't super well attended, but the people that we had there were very interested in moving the industry, their operation, everything go forward. And I think it was one of the coolest moments for me is when you look at the schedule, maybe reading it, it doesn't all click, but throughout the day, everybody's like, wow, each of these sessions really builds on itself. And one of the focuses, and I'm just saying it, like my focus is data collection and performance, right? I've talked to both of you extensively about that. Served on the DNA committee for years. It's a passion. So when we were looking at speakers for this event, we really wanted to create something where if one of the points interests you, it was going to keep building and building till it came to the end where Caleb and Farmbright did their presentation of where's the ABGA, what's the next steps, what are we doing? And I think it's been a really cool aspect of like how much of the data collection, the performance, the data records, all of these things we really need to move the industry forward, right? We're in a really good spot. We have breeders that have come up through the ranks like Maddie and Trevor, and now the next generation coming in. That's so awesome, right? But we really need to look at how do we keep this sustainable long term? And that's what the focus of this was, is branching out into new markets, developing new opportunities. One of the biggest things you see, Jason and Josh, on social media is what is my member benefit for the ABGA? What does the ABGA do for the average member? And so this summit was really designed to exemplify the members that maybe don't show or ones that do. I mean, my family attended and they show, but they also wanted to learn more about the import and the export side of things, right? We talk about genetics and shipping our genetics. And really, when we tie back to the rebranding that we did this spring, the American Bordeaux, right? We all have talked about this, and we love the direction that's going. But it really struck home for me during that import-export panel with Brittany Scott, Doug Edge, Renee Strickland, and Tyler Sparks about just how in demand our genetics are as American Boer goat breeders. And I think it really opened up a lot of eyes in the room. You saw people sit up and kind of take a second to ask questions and try to rub elbows with the people that are doing that. Because as far as I know, Brittany Scott and Doug with RSG are the major exporters of semen and embryos in the United States. I think they might be the only ones doing that on that scale. And so to have them there and accessible for the members that were there was extremely a great opportunity for them.
The import market, just working the sale this past weekend, and we had a lot of international interest, and it's something that we've seen before, and it kind of comes and goes, but it seems to be incredibly strong and just kind of staying. That folks around the world want American Boer goat genetics. They see where we have, what we have made with these goats, and how we've kind of adapted them for our needs, and they really like it. And it's really fun to kind of watch and see folks get really excited to be able to add our genetics to their programs so far away.
I think it goes to say that we're driving up that base market for the seed stock, right? Where you may not sell a $1,000 animal across the ocean, but if you can sell $2,750,000, I mean, that's what pays the bills at the end of the day. And we talk about, like Maddie and Trevor just talked about, this is their life, right? This is their whole goal. They're going to have some goats that sell for $750,000. I don't think as many as what I probably do, but they have some, right? And so creating that market is something that we need to be thinking about. And that was part of the idea of the summit, is how do we fill that deficit for the meat market, right? We have massive amounts of meat coming in from Australia and New Zealand into this country. Caleb is over in Africa right now. I'm sure he's going to be on talking about that. But he sent me messages of the Zimbabwe meat market, of pictures of cuts over there. And that's where the summit was, to bring some focus to the membership, some opportunity for them to see, here are some opportunities. We need participation in these activities. We need participation in these programs to be able to make them valuable to the average member, right? If nobody puts in the data, none of us benefit from it, right? So that was a key point that was all the way through the day, starting from Dr. Quandros in the morning all the way to Caleb in the afternoon.
That's awesome.
I think there was a lot of us that have preached a little bit of that for a long time about the data. And then if you don't keep putting it in and plugging away at it, it doesn't do anybody else any good either. And,
no.
One of the things about the export market that I apologize, I had to step away for just a second. I didn't hear some of what you said at the beginning there, Paige, but some of that about the export market, I'm sure that there's folks out there that have no idea how that even works. All the testing that has to go on. You have to go through the right lab. Those labs have to be certified to go to certain countries. They can, they can't just send them anywhere. You can't freeze these things in your garage and send them over UPS in a nitrogen shipper, right? So everything's got to be labeled the right way. But one of the big things about the export business is when you get those foreign entities, breeders involved, like the Japanese contingency that was at the national show, right? When you start to get them involved and they get those first genetics over into those countries, and we have the ability to get it over there. Just think about what we did as Americans when we got the first ones from New Zealand and South Africa, and look where it's taken off, and the potential to see that maybe somewhere else and to, be the source. And right now, be the one source for this type of Boer goat is pretty exciting stuff, with the potential for the, future markets, how it could possibly affect how we sell things at home.
Yep.
On the registered side, where can it go to open up commercial avenues? I mean, there's a lot to be said for just that little bit of exportation that we already do.
Well, and it was eye-opening for me. I mean, I've talked a little bit with certain exporters and stuff like that, but just what the volume that they need sometimes. Sometimes they get an order for 200 head or 300 head and they need to fill it. Or Renee Strickland was one that talked on the panel, and she really just said, no BS, this is the way it is. We need this type of animal. When we say we need it, that's what we need. And I think
Right.
too, that creating your own market, right? We talk about we need a meat market, we need to develop that. I feel like a lot of breeders need to look at responsibility on themselves a little bit too, of what kind of goats are you selling to the sale barn? Are you sending a nice group of finished animals, or are you selling old nannies, right? What kind of market are you building? And I think we've seen that out in South Dakota. There's a breeder out there that's developed a large kill market for herself. There's plenty of examples around the country of that. I think that was a little bit of a slap reality for some of those breeders that were in attendance in a good way. Another thing that we talked about is when we talked about the data collection, how to do it, right? So we had some really cool sponsors for this event. FarmBright, they are record keeping livestock management software that's partnered with the ABGA. They actually have a 25% discount. They're partnering with the ABGA for any ABGA member, 25% off of their program. So we'll get that out in the next newsletter, but that was a really cool partnership that came as a direct part of the summit. And we're working at the pilot program with them currently through the foundation to develop that program that they have to be more specific to Boer goats, right? It's for crops, it's for cattle, it's for anything. I think they even do honeybees, right? But they want to make sure that the fields that they're collecting data on are stuff that matches up and is important for the Boer goat producer. And I think that's really cool that that industry is taking a look at us and saying, hey, this is a big player. We want to be involved with them. So FarmBright was one of our new sponsors. Another one was No Fence, the GPS tracking collars. That was a huge draw and a huge hit. Margaret Thomas from a No Fence user came and did a presentation, and it was awesome. It was really cool to hear. I think she's going to be on with you folks maybe later this fall to talk about, or one of the No Fence reps. And I think that's a huge opportunity for the average producer to get involved with. So some cool things coming down the pipe there, but No Fences was a great sponsor of this summit to make it possible.
That's awesome, Paige. So can we expect a summit in 2027, or is it too early to tell?
Let me think real hard. You guys know me. You know that I would do about anything for this industry and this organization. I think that there's a lot of people that feel the same way. The foundation, this is really I'm going to call it our inaugural year of getting off the ground, getting some money coming through, doing some different events. We're looking at some JBJ scholarships this fall. We're looking at, we raised $1,000 while we were there for the scholarship fund. We set up an endowment. We've got a lot of things in the cooker. I think we're going to focus maybe a little bit more on a regional educational event to draw more from our state associations. You both know that I work on the affiliates committee and trying to get our state organizations the help that they need and the support from the ABGA. And so I'm thinking if there's a state out there that would like to host something, I would totally partner with that. So I think that's going to be the kind of the direction we move. As far as the banquet and honoring everybody, it was, I just want to say thank you to everybody that attended. The food was great, not to pat myself on the back, but that was major draw. It was fantastic. So, in Margaritaville, what can you ask for a better facility?
I know, right?
It was fun. So,
yeah, I was really jealous that whole weekend.
Yeah, it was great as long as you didn't step outside.
Yeah, right.
Well, Paige, thank you so much for spending some of your evening and rushing in from Breeding Cows to talk about the educational summit. And I think a regional approach actually may be just a bit more accessible for some folks. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to see how that
absolutely.
goes, and always willing to help in any way I can with that. So thank you so much for stopping by. And I think we got one more guy we're going to try to squeeze in a few minutes.
Squeeze him in.
We'll
Thank you,
bring
Paige. Appreciate it.
We really appreciate all the work you do, not only for the summit, but for the association. And Rodney was here,
You
now he's
can-
not.
You can
Bring
bring
him
him
back.
back in.
Bring him back,
He's
Portia.
fine.
Folks, here we got Rodney Wilson, the new ABGA president. Rodney, welcome to the Boer broadcast.
Well, thanks for having me again in a different capacity this time. I'm very excited and honored and humbled to be serving as the next president of the ABGA.
Have you felt the pressure yet?
I should say yes, I think. That might be the correct answer, but honestly, no. It's been such a smooth transition, and I think that's just to credit Tyler that came before me and the work that we did as a board. It was such a smooth transition with the new board members that joined the board. We had our face-to-face meeting, and we did the entire agenda in one day from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's a task and accomplishment in itself. So that should tell you the functionality that we have as a board right now.
Hell, they got it done quicker than the juniors did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I kind of expected your answer to be like, no, I've not felt pressure. You were the national show chair, and that was probably one of the smoothest weeks. And you, although you may have been frantic at times, we're never frantic in public. So I think you handle that stress really well. But as you look forward, what are some goals or some things that you're looking forward to this year with the association?
So at the face-to-face, we approved what we call the Strategic Vision 2030, and that's our strategic plan for the ABJ. So now it's a forward-facing document for members to see where we are, where we want to be as an association. It really gives the board some guidelines. I'll say a roadmap more than guidelines of what it is we need to get to, and then we can figure out how we get there. And I really think that's helped. To just transition right off of that, the committees. So a couple of new committees that were added this year by me was the DNA committee. And if you read that, and if that's something you want to join, those applications are out right now through August 15th. But my goal for DNA is to find a partner where we can get the costs down, number one, and where we can maybe just get to a place where we can package it with a registration so that every animal that's being registered is putting DNA on file. And we can finally have a database to run with some of these cattle associations, some of the hog associations, the sheep, where we can DNA just to tell what percentage Boer our animals are at some point in time. Obviously, maybe a 10, 15 years down the road, but we got to start sometime, and now is that time in my mind.
That's a quality goal. It's a lofty goal. We've had all the pushback on the DNA over the years, but it is one of the very highest priority fundamental practices that an association, a pedigreed association, needs to do. Not only for accurate record keeping from a pedigree standpoint, but when you talk about all the other things that all the Facebook warriors want to yak about, as far as, oh, we need EPDs, whatever, we need to do all this. Yeah, you do. Turn the data in, get a DNA program established, and then we can have things to tie to for those EPDs and whatnot. And so I hope you can find that company that can tie the registration with the DNA. I think that's the right way to go. And hopefully you'll get there. Just don't read Facebook that much.
Yeah, I'm like, now's not the time. I think that we've done a really good job of stepping back, and we're really putting the horse in front of the cart. I think for so many items we've done, we've put the cart in front of the horse, and we haven't gotten anywhere. And Paige will be the chair of that committee. Obviously, she has done the most work on that. But just from a data standpoint, she mentioned it earlier, and it was really the highlight of the summit. We published all that data from the national show. If anyone saw the nationals review we put together with the class winners, the results, all of the ADGs from the top 10 animals, as well as the weigh back data to see every goat we weighed back throughout the week fell within that 5-pound range we had discussed before. Even if they weighed in that initial Sunday and showed the following Friday, they still fell within that range. So
No
I think
kidding.
that was
That's
some ease of
pretty
mind
good.
on lots of people. Also, if you go back and watch, the recordings are posted from the face-to-face. Caleb put together all of the data from nationals to see the transition of the ADGs from 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. And you can see they gradually go down. And that was kind of what we were trying to get out to the producers or the exhibitors coming in is, yes, you may have a 250-pound buck, but their ADG is so much less than what a 0 to 3. They're not gaining half a pound, 3/4 of a pound a day, where we have that worry that they're going to gain 5 pounds overnight. Yes, their body size is much more massive, but their average daily gain has gone down as they are more mature than the others. So such good data. I believe he's going to put that out in a newsletter at some point, some sort of publication, just for people to review. He broke it down by percentage full blood bucks and does, and the data is actually very accurate where we would expect it to be. Jason, you mentioned earlier in that Supreme Drive, you're expected to pick the full blood. Well, the full bloods did outperform in as far as data goes at nationals, so that was really cool to see. But we also had a stronger data point for the numbers of full bloods at nationals as well. So I just want to mention that so that people see we're doing all this, we're collecting all this data, and everything is leading to something else, and that's why we're really trying to make sure we're doing the best we can and doing the most with what we have.
Absolutely. And I think earlier Paige we've talked about data until we're blue in the face, but we never do anything about it. And we just kind of kick that can and let it be somebody else's problem, because it's not an easy elephant to eat. There's so many ways of what do we collect? How do we collect it? How do we monitor if it's right or not? And so it opens up lots of cans of worms. But I think now's the time. Like we need to start compiling things. If we ever want to be able to make breeding more predictable, we're going to have that data.
Absolutely. Another large committee that we formed, a new one, is the International Genetics Export Committee, and that'll be headed by the past president, Tyler Sparks, and that is just to garner those partnerships with the international members that we have, like having the Japanese at the national show. I know he's currently working with a couple, and we're partnering and started to work with RSG as an export partner as well with the ABGA. That Caleb is over in Africa right now with him with RSG. So just garnering those partnerships, as you both mentioned earlier, the need and the drive for the American genetics is incredible, and I find it very flattering as an American breeder that these people have gotten genetics from where we started all those years ago, and they're wanting our genetics to cross over those. So I think it's kudos to us as breeders in this country on how we have just surpassed expectations on breeding those animals.
It's the natural evolution of the livestock process in North America, whether you're talking about Mexico or the US or even Canada. I think the North American breeders have done so well over the years, regardless of species, of staying ahead of the trends and the technology to be able to make those huge leaps forward. And we're seeing it. And I think, Jason, don't you think that we're probably seeing more progress in the last 5 years than we did in the previous 10?
I guarantee it.
Within this breed. And I think that's what you were talking about, Rodney, is the testament to the breeders. Just like Maddie and Trevor, right? They don't have a life. It's just the goats. But it takes those those two, just and then several others just like them.
Yep.
And I think we're starting to see that, and it's really it's really a cool evolution to be able to see how it's trending. And I think the futures. And with you guys on the board now, Rodney, don't you? I mean, as far as a collective group, you got to feel pretty excited about being able to get some things done.
Yes, absolutely. We are all like-minded in the sense of having the future of this industry at the forefront of what we do. We have a wide variety of backgrounds. We have a wide variety of things that we're passionate about. But that's the one thing that we can come together on very easily. That's the one thing when we sit down, we look at a page and a half agenda and we say, you know what, let's get through this, because we can bring everything back to that one topic of where's this going to put us in the future. Another big thing, I know we're probably way over on time, but another big thing we did as a board was we approved quarterly meetings. So we are now on a quarterly meeting basis. We will be set to meet 4 times a year. We were meeting monthly, and we were just seeing a lot of just reactive governance is really what the basis was when we were researching this this potential proposal. And what this does is it puts the members knowing those 4 times a year where they need to really pay attention, see what kind of changes were coming. And it allows us to really evaluate these items and not just react, not have something happen, we react, and then what we've seen in the past, we have to go back 2 or 3 times to fix it. So I'm very excited. The entire board is very excited on being able to have committee work running those 3 months between the quarterly meetings, have actual ready to go proposals coming to us, and then also having the time to have a full layout of putting it out to members and actually putting the time in to the education piece, and not just saying, okay, here's a rule change, read it and interpret it how you may. Now we can say, this is what it is, this is what the change is, and this is why we did it. So another really big change, but another one that's really for the best interest of the association and really the members, so that they know how and can stay informed.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that because, in all honesty, when it comes down to nonprofit governance, the board is there to set policy and set a budget and make sure things are physically aligned. When sometimes I think throughout our history, we have been very micromanaging of anybody we put in that leadership role. And Caleb is doing such a phenomenal job. This allows him to be the executive director and to be able to move, and that allows the board to focus on policy work and fiscal matters, making sure we have the money when we need the money and how that works. And that's just, I think that is one of the best maturing things that I've heard in terms of our association in some time, is that we are kind of getting to that point, because we have a tremendous director, and we want him to be there. And sometimes when we get nitpicky and it's you're meeting every month and you get done with one meeting and you're coming right back into playing the next one, you don't really have time to be up here. You're always focused on the now, and you really sometimes have to, as a director of a nonprofit, you've got to live up here in this headspace of dreaming and strategy and how do you get from here to there. So kudos to y'all.
And the strategic plan is an important part of the whole process, because if they don't, and nobody knows where you're going, you guys aren't for sure not going to be able to figure out how to get there. And
Correct.
I had talked to several other folks over the last several years about a strategic plan, and the associations that I had previously worked for, that they followed it like the Bible. And
live and breathe the document.
Yeah, and that's what it's there for. I mean, it's not that it's never open for interpretation, but I mean, or changes somewhat depending on how things evolve. But you got to have a vision, and that's what that is.
Yep, absolutely. If you see the committees that went out when Portia sent them out, she shared the presentation that I did of chairs and things, and you'll see on the right hand side of those slides it lists a pillar or a building block, and that's how we're operating now. We have 5 pillars, and so you'll see that every committee that was set is related to one of those pillars or one of those building blocks of our strategic vision. Our committee work is the foundation of really supporting us as a board. That's where we get our members' voices heard, and then that translates up to us to make a policy change or a rule change, like you mentioned, Jason. So we really are. I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but we are very functional as a board right now, and we're very fluent in the understanding that we have of what our job is and what we're there to do.
Fantastic. Well, Rodney, that is wonderful. That may be the best news. This has been a great broadcast with lots of cool information, lots of cool things with our juniors. But that piece of information probably has made me more excited than anything. And it's just
you made Jason happy, Rodney.
Made me happy. That's just all good things. We are about 11 minutes over. So anything else you'd like to end on before we close out?
Just one thing that I'm very excited about my team from Nationals. I've talked about them a lot, but we did end with a net positive gain of it'll be about $40,000 to $50,000 from the national show. Maybe one of the first times ever for the national show to have a positive outcome as far as the financial standpoint. So it helps our bottom line for the budget. It also helps propel us into going ahead and getting ready for next year. So again, just another shout out to my team, Portia, Jalen, Caleb specifically, doing all the footwork, and then everyone that served on the committee. I hope that you sign back up and run it again this year, and we can kind of put the same team together to get that. But just had to give a shout out to that. And then to all the members, I'm very excited to serve. I have an open line of communication. You can always give me a call, prefer a text so that I can find the time to answer you. But my door is always open as far as anyone that has concerns. Make sure you reach out to your director. It's going to be a very fun, very exciting year. I'm very excited to see what we have to come this year. We're really on a high right now, and I hope that we can continue that as just propelling us into the future. I can't imagine where we will be this time next year.
I can't wait. Well,
Exciting
congratulations,
stuff.
Rodney.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Thanks so much for stepping up and into that leadership role and for joining us today. And I'm sure we'll have you back several times through your presidency. But I think you judged the county fair today, didn't you?
I did this morning.
Good deal.
Yes.
Good deal. Well, enjoy your time judging, and we'll see you down the road soon. Thanks, Rodney.
See you, Rodney. Thank you.
See you. Thank you.
Hey, Jason, before we kind of wrap it up, did you see that comment over there? I was going to address Kevin's comment real quick. Kevin, I'm assuming that you're familiar with some of the cattle breed associations, because what you've just lined out is eerily similar to how the Simmental Association structures their total herd reporting and cow enrollment process. I love that idea and I like it. And so for those that don't know, just real quick, you enroll your cow with the Simmental Association. You have 3 options to enroll her. You can enroll her in A, B, or C. A is a little higher price, but then you register her calves. When you register her calves, there's no registration fee. If you pick option B, it's a lower price, but then the calf registration is a $15 or something like that. And then option C is basically for commercial cows. The caveat to enrolling in those options is that you still have to report every calf she has. It doesn't matter if she aborts, if the calf dies on birth, if it dies before weaning. If you don't ever register the calf and you ship it to the sale barn, you still report it. You still report the birth weights, report all the stuff like that. See, he's right there. I knew that's what you were talking about, Kevin. I love that idea. And when I was with Griswold Cattle, I did all of that for John's herd, and it is a task. It's an undertaking but I think that you are absolutely on the right path when you're thinking about enrolling all these does. Put your commercial does in an option, put your red full bloods in another option, whatever, however you want to do it. But turn in how many kids did she have? Doesn't matter if they were all dead. Doesn't matter if she had triplets and only one lived. Report the other two. What they weigh. That way we can get a better base. And I think right now the ABJ does not require any of that, Kevin. And so as moving forward, get a DNA process in hand, find that company that can tie registrations to DNA. I think that could certainly be a viable option.
That could be incredibly beneficial, especially in terms of marketing. And if everything's out there, it's we need to do that. Years ago I was big on data on our commercial herd, and I'm not so much now, but it is important to be able to go back and look and say, oh, this 8-year-old doe has had, 24 kids for us, and we've got 6 left in the herd. And, that's valuable data that we need to know. So good question, Kevin. And maybe at some point in time we'll get there. I think
pretty much all cattle breed associations do total herd reporting in some fashion at this point.
I think we have kicked this data can down the road, but it sounds like with what's happening with the foundation, what's happening with this board, that maybe that starts to come to fruition this year. And that's really what we need, I think, to kind of propel us even further forward.
I hope so. And it's going to tie into that export market, because the more you can prove the data in a quantifiable pattern to potential export buyers, the more they have real time, physical numbers they can look at, the more likely they are to be big buyers as far as embryos or whatever. But it all ties hand in hand, man. It's just another step, right?
Yep. Thanks for asking that, Kevin. Well, Josh, it's been a good broadcast. I'll throw out there just a little bit of market reports. Looking at San Angelo on the 5th, Selection 1 kids, even lightweights were still in that upper 3s to mid $4 a pound range. Not much of a summer slump. A little bit off from where we were back in the spring, but that's still pretty good prices. Still pretty good.
That's still in a screw worm zone too.
Yep.
So, kind of that to still hold that strong. I think we're in a good spot. I think they're all finding their way around the country and all market venues.
Absolutely. We are, we're seeing it in the production sales. We starting kind of fall sale season last week with I didn't get the final average, but it was well over 2,000 on a really good set, and it's nice to see we're back in that good kind of comfortable space where folks are. So,
message for all the folks out there that are breeders is what you and I talked about earlier. Goes to that sale. Jason talked that sale, and everybody wants to spend money, and they're willing to spend money for the top end, right?
Yep.
And everybody always wants to find a deal. That mid-range, just good, solid brood doe. For those of you out there that want to expand a little bit, there's where you need to look at these sales coming up. This is like my forecast a little bit. Those does that are just the $1,000 to $2,500 ones that are just, they're not show does anymore. Take them home, breed them, raise kids, made them the right way. That's where your money's going to be at.
Yep, absolutely. All day long, you can add a lot of good genetics and a lot of good pieces to your program. Fairly reasonable by looking at it that way. Sometimes if we're not looking for a show pony to take the show ring, we can step back to that one that can make that next show pony. And sometimes we need to think in that way. We're looking our next $4.30 a pound in Sioux Fall for 50 pounders. Good job. That's really good. It looks like our next board broadcast will be September the 3rd. I'm not exactly sure what will be on. I wanted to talk, and we've just run out of time, but I want to talk about the scrapie issue that happened in, I think that was Oregon, here in
Washington or Oregon.
Washington,
Yeah.
Oregon, here in the last week or so, and what that might mean for us. And it seems like it's kind of easy, but it kind of gets back into scrapie tagging and reporting because that animal was not tagged, and so we'll probably maybe touch on that some and see what else is going on. But as folks are out breeding, going to fall sales and shows and everything else, enjoy your time.
All
As
the
Maddie
state fair shows coming up
fairs
too.
going on, find that mentor, talk to that mentor, develop that relationship with the mentor, and I guess we'll see you guys down the road.
Folks, we'll see you. Thank you.